time for the spoiler-free review of Stephen King's Billy Summers. This 514-page novel was compelling right from the beginning to the very end. What can I say about this that won't spoil it? Okay. Part of it is from the blurb in the front that I read to you when I unboxed this, was about a killer for hire. Billy Summers is a killer for hire that has a moral compass. Okay, he would not take on a job unless the guy was really a bad guy, which I found kind of funny. But through reading this novel, I have found I got to know Billy Summers a little better through his backstory. And that was set up nicely by the cover story for this particular job that he's been hired for an exorbitant amount of money. Like, somebody wanted to pay a whole lot of money to have somebody else taken out. And that meant Billy had to be on scene and wait for the time when he was triggered to actually perform his duty, his job. The cover story was that he was a writer, and he's like, I'm no writer, you know. But he would do the job, and he would play act, I guess, that he was a writer. Now, what transpired is he actually started to write and ended up with his own book. But as the story goes along, we get backstories, we get other characters being involved, some of whom are a little bit troubling, some are very endearing, and it is a rich tapestry that is woven to not only show us who Billy Summers really is, but to explain the backstory and the job that is before him and the resolution of that job. And I found it very complex, but that's really good. I like complex characters, and the development of the character was consistent all the way through. As I read the book, I learned more and more about Billy Summers. I got to know him better. I got to understand him a little better and understand why he held certain beliefs and why he did what he did. And the book he ended up writing ended up being cathartic because it was basically a biography. And he dove into the things that brought him to where he is now. And it has, as I said, a cathartic experience for him. He understands himself better. He tries to better himself. It's his shot at redemption. And he wants out of the sniper business. So it was his goal to get this. This is the last hit, and then I'm done. However, factors play into things, and things go sideways a little bit, but that just makes a better book. Okay, if it went all just according to plan, it would be rather boring for me. Okay, so I really liked this book. I give it 5 stars. Um, it covered everything. It covered romance. It covered action, a lot of action. There were some rather gory passages, but if you know anything at all about Stephen King, he's not squeamish that way. So that is totally expected for me, a Stephen King fan. It would fit right in with my knowledge of Stephen King, and didn't dissuade me from the book at all. It covered back history, which was war related. It covered modern day writing the present, which involved some really strange characters that have become endearing. I still think about them even after finishing reading. This one is going to be read again. It's going to be on my shelf in my collection, of course. It will be read again down the road where I've forgotten most of the plot. I look forward to reading this again. But if you are a fan of Stephen King, I would highly recommend you read this. It does have some mentions of other Stephen King works in here, and if you're a Stephen King fan, you're going to you run across them and go, yes, I know that one. Okay, yes, I know that one. You know, like it's very comforting that the King universe is mentioned. The ending wasn't as nice as I would have liked it, but it is consistent with the subject matter. So I can see where he was thinking how to end it like this. What else? What else do I say? I got to really like Billy Summers. Even as a sniper, he was all about doing the job and doing it correctly and thinking 12 steps ahead of things. And being a professional throughout. Even though this was his last job, he could have just, you know, done it as he was. But through writing this book of his, he learned more about himself. He really evaluated what got him to where he is now, and it stayed that he wanted out. So I was rooting for him right to the end. If you like Stephen King, recommended. Okay, recommended on the reading list. If you're new to Stephen King, this might actually you'll miss the references to other Stephen King works, obviously, if you're new to Stephen King. But that doesn't detract from the plot at all. It's minor compared to the rest of it. But I found this really engaging right from the beginning to the end, and I would highly, highly recommend this one. I can't wait till he writes another book. I really, seriously can't. Until then, I'll be rereading other Stephen Kings that I have on my shelf and looking to add to my collection, as always, when I see them come up used. But I love getting a first edition. I pre-ordered this one back in May. It came out in August. I've had this read for about 2 weeks now, trying to get the time to make this video. Sorry it's taken so long, but life got a little busy. But again, gotta love it. Thumbs up. Highly highly recommend this, and 5 stars. This is classic King with a supreme twist. I love it. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye for now. People have been asking about my Stephen King bookshelf that I keep mentioning, and they wanted me to do the Billy Summers book review in front of my bookcase. So I thought I'd give you a brief look at the books I've got on my shelf. These are my Dark Tower series books. They're not all matching. I get them thrifted or given to me or whatever, but they're not all the same series. They're all the same books, but they're not all the same size. So there we go. And as we go, you'll see I have pretty much a lot of them. I have spent years and years and years collecting Stephen King books. My son actually used to give me birthday gifts and Christmas gifts were like, okay, which ones do you need now? So I gained a lot of books that way for many years. And now I'm buying my own as well, which is evident with things like If It Bleeds, which I pre-ordered, and the current one, Billy Summers. And as you can see, I have a kitty sitting here right by Pet Cemetery. Misery, I love that book. Later, I liked it. A lot of people don't, but I liked it. Joyland, that is a favorite that I go back to over and over again. Hearts in Atlantis, Insomnia. I have doubles of some. I have Insomnia here in paperback, and I have it down here in hardcover. So some things I have doubles of, some things I have one of, and I'm looking for the other one. I also like to collect different covers from different places, just because they will never go missing in my house, so they'll all get equally read and loved. So I have quite a few Stephen King It, Institute, If It Bleeds, Just After Sunset. I do have the entire Bill Hodges series, Mr. Mercedes, End of Watch, and what's the other one? Oh yes, Finders Keepers. Okay. Stephen King's The Stand. I have the full uncut as well as the edited version. I like both. I actually like the unedited one, the unabridged, because I want to read it like Stephen would want me to read it. And I found out that the editing was done purely on a sales thing, and it was through his publisher that said, oh, are you kidding me? This bookstop won't, this doorstop won't sell if it's thousands of pages. I liked it. Both versions. Anyway, his son Joe Hill has a place on my shelf. I have really, really enjoyed his writing as well. I also read The Fireman. I borrowed that from a library, but I plan on getting my own copy eventually. But all these other ones are mine from Joe Hill. And of course, Sleeping Beauties with his son Owen King. Okay. I really like all of his writing. And I don't get how some people can get upset with him So some of it's not your taste. That's fine. That doesn't mean it's wrong or it's bad. I really like it.